Namaskar. Welcome to Ek Samvaad at Arunima Ankuran. On the occasion of Women's Day, we are in conversation with Mrs.Aswathi Dorje to celebrate her achievements and to celebrate the fact that she's an inspiration for so many women. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Ek Samvaad.
Thank you, Dr.Pragya.
A word about Arunima Ankuran. Arunima Ankuran is an initiative for positive social change through self-development. The goal is greater well-being and happiness for all. At Arunima Ankuran, we believe that each person is unique and special in some way, that each person can make a difference, that each person can have an impact, and that's what inspires us to keep going. And we are so honored to have Mrs. Aswathi Dorje. She is Joint Commissioner Police, Nagpur City, and we look forward to her sharing her views and experience with us today. International Women's Day is a global celebration of the social, economic, cultural, and political achievements of women. Each year, this day serves as a powerful reminder of the progress made towards gender equality and highlights the work that still needs to be done. The campaign theme for International Women's Day 2024 is Inspire Inclusion. When we inspire others to understand and value women's inclusion, we forge a better world. When women themselves are inspired to be included, there's a sense of belonging, relevance, and empowerment. Arunima Ankuran is happy to celebrate the contribution and achievements of Mrs. Aswathi Dorje, a police officer who's an inspiration in more ways than one. Thank you, ma'am, for joining us. And
Thank you.
So we would like you to share with us some of the earliest milestones of your journey as a cop. Maybe you could start sharing with us, from the time that you first donned the uniform and went into training, maybe.
Okay. So, I never expected to be in the Indian Police Service. Okay. So it was not my childhood ambition to be a police officer, or even entering the service was not there in my mind. When I was during my schooling or my college days. But what happened was that after college, I was very particular that I wanted a profession where I would be able to serve people. I will be able to help people. So this was very much there at the back of my mind. I thought maybe I could become an academic and mentor people, or become a professor. So as was a norm, I was a good student, and I did particularly well in academics, in both in school and college. So everybody expected my journey to be smooth. But as I was finishing college, and I passed the UGC net, and my lecturership appointment is almost sure, and my PhD was also. You need not do MPhil. If you pass UGC net, you can straight go in for a PhD. So my PhD, the guide was also fixed. My HOD was offering, but the last minute, my HOD, who was having issues, she decided to leave the university. Then the state government in Kerala, from where I hail from, they put a ban on new appointments. Especially regarding lectureship. So it was one after the other, doors closing for me. So I was kind of devastated. And a close friend of mine had gone to Delhi. She had civil servants in the family, and she had an ambition. She had this ambition to become a police officer. So she was writing the UPSC. So, when doors were shutting and I suddenly found my career ambitions, hopes being dashed, I thought, okay, why don't I take a, try? Why don't I try this? So out of desperation, I sat for the UPSC exams, and I had not, mind you, written any other exam, because I was bent on being an academic. I had tried for your scholarship abroad, Cambridge Nehru scholarship, if I remember. And on the last day that I had to, I think I must have stretched it too far. This last day when I had to put in the form, the application form, I had finished everything, synopsis was ready. My mother fell ill. And in all those years, I never knew of a day when my mother had to be hospitalized. And that particular day, she had to be hospitalized. So So fate was pushing me in more ways than one into this profession, I should say. So I came into this service. And not many people advised me when I joined Labasna, which is Lal Bahadur Shastri Academy of Administration in Missouri, where all the civil servants have their foundation training. That now Ashwathi, they said, Ashwathi ji, abhi aapko thoda gali seekhna padega. So I said, why? He said, in
Oh.
police, you are supposed to dish out gali. In every other sentence, you have to take out a gali. That is how, you fit into police. I said, that will be very unnatural. And I said, it's not in my being to come out with galis by the minute. And I said, I will not be me. And so I don't think I will be able to do that. I said, I am a very pro people oriented person. I like working with people. I wanted to help people. That is one reason why I think I should be happy with police and being able to help people. So that is how the journey started. Of course, training was tough. I was not a very physically oriented person, really, because I'm an only child. I don't have brothers and sisters. So my earliest companions in life were books. I used to be, could
Oh.
call me a bookworm to start with. Used to read books. So whenever I fell ill, my mother made sure that I had a ready supply of books. Any infection or something like mumps or bees, measles, anything, she made sure that my stock of books was ready. So I will be happily sitting and reading the books, not not cribbing or calling for sympathy. So I would be most happy with books. From there to be on the parade ground and do parade and all those exhausting physical regime that you have in IPS training was a big challenge, I should say. So I had started with the gym, but then nothing prepares you for National Police Academy. So where you really challenge yourself every day, where you change uniform 6 times a day, and you get a memo for being 1 second late. So, so in between, you're basically running from class to class, hoping, praying that you are not late and you're in time and you're able to keep up with activities. And every written exam not attended will give you a second chance to pass, but your marks will not be counted. So that was,
oh my God,
that was the kind of regimen that it actually prepares you for life in police, because they say you get Saturday, Sunday. Saturday was not there initially. Then they later gave us half a day. Then Sunday was spent studying for the Monday test. And Monday tests were compulsory in all the written in papers and the physical test, of course, in between. So that actually taught me to get ready in half an hour, to change from civil dress. I mean, the hard part was not from civil dress to uniform, it was from uniform to civil dress. that actually, and pack overnight. You basically will be kept busy. You might be fine finishing your last paper, written paper, and then overnight you have to pack and get ready, vacate your room, and go to the railway station to catch the train for reaching your cadre, reporting on time for your district training. This kind of a thing. I remember my husband and myself packing, finally giving away things which we couldn't pack. So life begins in that way. Then you go to the cadre and you find that everything is new, from the language to the culture that you have, the cuisine, everything is new. You have to learn the nitty-gritty of the job, and you have to earn the trust of the people, the faith of the people. So in my case, initially my cadre was different. It was a SAM. So I learned SMEs. I worked there for the initial probation period was spent in Assam before I got a cadre change to Maharashtra. Myself and my husband, we both came to Maharashtra. Again, Maharashtra, the culture is entirely different. I come from a place where and from a community especially which gives girls a lot of importance. We also inherit property, as you would know. The particular community inherits property. It's a more matrilineal system in Kerala. To Assam was fine, but in Maharashtra you still have, and especially in certain places, you have a more patriarchal system. So getting used to that, especially in police, requires a lot of mental preparation and getting a bit used to. So to start with, in Maharashtra, you don't get generally posted to Mumbai unless you have, you only hear of Mumbai outside. You don't get posted to Mumbai unless you have spent about 9 to 10 years in service. They consider you pretty junior. You're the junior most when you join Mumbai at 9 or 10 years of service. So go through the through the real grind. Initial part, I had Gadchiroli. When they said Gadchiroli, I had no idea what is Gadchiroli.
Right.
So they said, no, it's a little bit Naxal affected. And they said, you're coming from Assam, you worked in Ulfa affected areas, Ulfa and Solfa and all were there. So you're fit for Gadchiroli. Okay, I thought, okay. But in Gadchiroli, thankfully, we have a induction training wherein in 2 weeks you learn about left-wing extremism, and you given a firing training, and you taught about how to move and what to do and what not to do, and you basically go about the drill with a lot of precaution and mental preparedness. And having done Gadchiroli, moving to concrete jungle of Thane, I was DCP in Thane, then initially in the zone, and then later in crime branch. Again, moving back when I had a child, my son was hardly a few months old when I was posted as SP anti-Naxal operations in Vidarbha, and I had my headquarters in Nagpur, but I had to move between all the 4 Naxal affected districts. So I used to move in a vehicle. There was no assigned residence, so I would be staying somewhere for 2-3 days, another place, wherever either the SRPF unit or somewhere in the, I remember having stayed in Gymkhana also in one room with my son and Aya for 1 or 2 months, I'm sure. So it was like no help, nothing. They don't have, even now today, SPA does not have any assigned residence or any, for that reason, for any help also, you don't have much. So with a small child, used to move in all these areas till the time I got posted as SP Varda. Then of course you get all the perks and the assigned residence and the help and all that. Then again I moved to Mumbai as a DCP, worked there in Mumbai, went on deputation to MHA, worked there for 5 years, came back to Mumbai as additional CP, worked for 2 years, and as IG promoted, I went to work in training as IG, as MPA director, and then of course to Mathur as joint CP. So that has been my journey.
Wow. And not many of us would imagine the kind of challenges that you had to face during the course of your career so far. So, when you look back, what are some of the achievements that make you proud and, make it worthwhile to be wearing the uniform?
Okay. Now, since the theme is inclusion, I would say that, when I was first posted in Assam, I met people who will not shake hands with the new ASP. The ASP is the first post that you occupy as Assistant Superintendent of Police in IPS. So people, they were not willing to. I remember having practiced as parade commander for 26 January. Normally, ASP is supposed to do the parade. And my SP, I remember he would not shake hands with me and he would not allow me to do the parade. I practiced for 2 days, but he had me replaced. So I was struck. I said, this is not done. I mean, we are trained in the academy to do the parade. We can very well do the parade. Why can't I? So then I went, I don't know what happened, but I decided to take things very seriously. I marched to the DGP's office. The Director General of Police was the highest ranked police officer in the state. And I said, sir, I want a change at the probation district. I'm not learning anything. I did not complain against SP or anything. I said, I'm not learning here in capital of Guwahati. Give me a more challenging district where other people are getting. So he said, okay, you are the first person who are coming and asking me for a more challenging posting. So I got a challenging posting which was full of problems. There was a Bangladeshi incursion issue was there. There was a sulfa problem was there. Lot of crime. So I got a good training district where my SP was also strong. He allowed me to do my thing, allowed me to handle big bandobas also. So that way I became quite confident, and he had that confidence in me. Especially when your boss has a confidence in you, that matters a lot. So from there, when I came to Mumbai, and when they said Gadchiroli, I don't know, that must have given me the confidence to say yes, even though Somebody had told me that, oh my God, it's all full of Naxals and no lady officer has been posted till date. So I said, no, no, it doesn't matter. Let's see what happens. So when I was posted, both me and my husband were posted. And a senior officer in Mumbai said, no problem. You are 30 kilometers this side and your husband is 30 kilometers this side. Not an issue. Little did we realize that it is our posts were 100 kilometers apart. And then regular movement would have been meant will become target of an Naxal attack. That's very predictable. It's not advisable. So we spent quite a long time. Mostly, the only means of communication in those days was only the wireless set. The mobile towers would have they never existed, and where they existed, they'd been burned down by the insurgents. So this kind of a thing, and used to sleep with the AK with you. So having done that, being the first lady there, and I moved to Thane as a DCP. And there it's a different kind of policing, the more urban policing where you have to be on your toes and act against illicit liquor and gambling and all that. So in those days, we used to be very active and, getting raids done thrice, 4 times a week. I think we were out at night and doing raids. I remember a liquor tragedy hitting Thane, which is just nearby. And I believe we were the only two people, and suddenly the talk was about SPs because the DCP in Thane got suspended. The DCP in Mulund got suspended. And we were all DCPs, and we were very junior DCPs. So the talk was that if you're not tough with illicit liquor, then you will get suspended. So, but we were already thorough with our job, so there was no question. I mean, we had no problem. I think we were the only two people who could sleep soundly in those days. From there, moving back, like I said, moving with my child in the Naxal affected areas and doing work, and setting up the special action group. So luckily, I've been able to do some contribution or something in every post, some post or the other. Every post they put where the anti-Naxal operations SP is not very much known outside. The kind of work that you go inside and do, it's not to be publicized also. But have getting to raise a new force with the active support of your seniors. These things give you a lot of satisfaction. Then I moved to Mumbai, and I was DCP of that area, wherein you have on one side you have the Shivaji Park, you have the all the Bhadralok sitting on one side, Dadar and that area, and the other side you have Dharavi, the biggest slum in Asia, Kurla, all these places on the other side of the ceiling. So that was again a good challenge, which I could do well. And then getting into MHA and being head of immigration Mumbai, I'm the first lady officer in the entire country to hold that responsibility. Then they thought the ladies could not do it. So it's a practice that outgoing FRRO chooses a successor. So the outgoing FRRO and the one before that, both of them unanimously chose me as the FRRO. And after me, till date, it has all been lady FRROs in Mumbai. Not a single male officer, because I found that a lady officer can do very well as FRRO, because FRRO, the maximum number of international flights, and being an immigration officer, you have to take split-second decision whether this person comes inside or he has to go out. We can deny him entry or not, and what basis, and whether person has to be deported. And if the person is not having his visa is expired, he has to be given an exit. All these things have to be decided, and that too at the dead of the night in a split second. Your officer from the airport will be calling you saying, "Madam, this is the case, this is the case, this is the case. What do I do?" And you have to give the decision. And your decision can be challenged 6 years down the line. I mean, if you're lucky, 6 months down the line, by anybody sitting in, say, Delhi. So that is the kind of impact that your decisions can. So I was lucky that I was the one who sat in all the meetings when the new airport was taking shape. So the decisions which were taken at that point, my boss was very skeptical because of a particular design at the airport. And he always used to ask me, who chose this, who chose this? I said, it was not my choosing, but I will try my best to get the very best facilities for immigration in the country. Now, after it got finished, and we were lucky to see. I was lucky to see the first flight coming in, and you have a flight. You have a. It's like a baby shower. You shower the
Uh,
flight from both sides. First flight coming in. So
oh,
we had
okay.
the earlier the last flight going out from the older airport, and the
Mm-hmm.
new flight coming in the same day at the brand new terminal,
Mm-hmm.
all on the same day with operations going smoothly, with nobody realizing that they're leaving the old airport and getting into a new airport.
Mm-hmm.
So that was quite a feat. I had a fantastic team by then who stood by me, and I took care of them. So when my mother fell ill, my mother had cancer, and my mother fell ill. All of them said, "Madam, you can go and look after your mother." I mean, this was before I put in any leave application. They said, "You are looked after us well. We will run this airport. You don't worry about it. We will run this airport, and you will not have a single complaint." So, you know, that is how they stood by me. And I had the largest number of women under me working. My AFR, my assistant FRRO,
Mm-hmm.
to the assistant directors who were there.
Mm-hmm.
Most of them were women. And all of them really, they worked on holidays also when where it counted, especially with the new terminal and all. Most of us had to come in, work in consistently, and there were teething issues happening sometimes, major technical glitches coming in, passengers getting irate. All these things they handled so well, so that we all stuck together as a team. So that speaks about inclusion. And after my because of my mother's illness, I personally decided, I don't know whether till date I don't know whether it's a correct decision. I decided that I will not get back into executive policing, even though all my seniors in Mumbai police said, when you come back, you come, we have that region vacant for you. And my husband is holding charge of that region. He was
Mm-hmm.
having his own original charge, and he was holding additional charge, just ready to give to me. But when I went and said no, they couldn't just believe it. They said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Sir, I have to take care of my mother, and I have to take frequent leave, which will not be possible if I am an executive." Having done that, and then I took posting as additional CP in AP, which is not an area where many people, even forget women officers, no male officer who has done reasonably well will choose AP, because you have all the defaulters coming in. Even though you have 12,000 force under you, you have the entire, it's basically the Bandobast force which you operate. There are 5 LAs and all that, and you have to take care of the entire recruitment of Mumbai city, which goes on over 2 to 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
And all the complaints department. You have the departmental proceedings happening. You have the repairs to the buildings. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
huge lot of work if you start doing it. But I could do that. Again, I had very supportive bosses on top. We
Mm-hmm.
do a lot of things for the force, for the children, job fairs, creating employment opportunities, taking the children out, and getting that rapport, and doing things which is little offbeat, like installing a rainwater harvesting system, which was kind of saving water for us in really water scarce Mumbai, and saving our parade ground from overflooding, kind of, and erosion of our soil and things like that. So after that, when I was being promoted, again this issue of a family, my mother, I lost my mother in between. My again that guilt probably that comes. It started gnawing at me, and I thought, is it too early to go back in? My son probably requires my attention. He's going to high school. Should I be taking an executive? So then again, they offered me an executive in Nashik. I said, I'm not too sure about the executive. They said, what about director of MBA? Had some academic orientation. So I said, okay,
Yes.
good officers have been directors of MBA. Mr.
Mm-hmm.
Naval Bajaj was there before me. So I said, yes, I don't mind. I mean, I look forward to doing that. So I was posted, and my husband was posted as a IG Nashik. Did some work there, but and I never had a complete week off. It was always batches, and normally 2 to 3 batches at the same time. And somewhere in around the middle of the first year, I realized it is an autonomous institution. And I had no idea what that meant. We were really short of staff, so the officers who were there, one or two of them did not want to take responsibility. So whenever I asked, "What is autonomy? And
Hmm.
what is this autonomous institution?" They said, "Madam, kashala gyayache."
Huh.
Sodundya.
Hmm.
So I said, people must have done a lot of work to get this announced,
Hmm.
recognized as an autonomous institution. So went through that, and I found that there's a lot of, even all our IITs or IIMs, most of the education institutions which are government run are supposed to be autonomous.
Hmm.
So why not a police training institution? So I then got down to understand what autonomy meant,
Hmm.
got all the papers dug out, had the first board meeting convened after I think 2 years. The last director had got the autonomy granted, and now I had to start from the beginning again. So and we didn't have any funds.
Hmm.
So starting from that, how to raise the funds, started doing courses upon courses, found that Yashoda is a good model, but Yashoda had started in 80s.
Hmm.
Now they are not dependent on the government for their salaries. They pay their own salary. To have that kind of a 300 crore corpus
Hmm.
done. But
Hmm.
I'm happy to say that the kind of courses we did and the kind of quality that we brought about, even during COVID, we had done courses with CBI and Enforcement Directorate and all on
Hmm.
board online,
Hmm.
everything run online, and kind of response we got from, there was a queue for our courses from other sister government departments, even from the Mantralaya we got people. And funnily enough, our outdoor staff made them do parade also. the, the Mantralaya clerks were doing parade. So,
Huh.
so I said, my God, I mean, they'll go and complain. But they enjoyed it so much. They went and gave back such a good report that the Mantralaya people said, okay, why don't you make it a part of the next course also? Part of the parade. And then these people have learned so much of discipline. Something we started from, we were on borrowed corpus,
Huh.
some 1 or 2 crores we had. From there to 16, 17 crores by the time I came out.
Wow.
And we had value addition to the tune of say 30 crores. Had an indoor firing range, state of the art indoor firing range, only the second unit in the country to have it. Even the National Police Academy in Hyderabad does not have it. Then we had a synthetic track. We had football and hockey grounds done with AstroTurf and certified by the International Hockey Federation and by FIFA, respectively. So all this done with my batch of 700 sub-inspectors on during COVID, not a single casualty. And at the towards the end of it, I also got additional charge of Nashik range. So for 3.5, 4 months of Nashik range, first half I used to go and sit in Nashik range office. Second half I used to be in the academy because I knew my outdoor people would manage and my system was already in place.
Right.
And not an issue, not a single communal incident in Nashik, Dhule, all these very communally sensitive districts. Nothing of the sort happened. So that was my contribution, value addition, I would say. Then came Nagpur. When I realized, when the time came to move from non-executive to executive, I realized that how difficult it is for somebody who has moved to the side for the time being, even though on my own choice.
Yes.
How difficult it is for somebody to get back into executive. Simply, there was no opening. I went and requested. I mean, I went through formal channels only. I went and requested my DG. I went and requested. They said, of course, you have your achievements. You should show this and all that. But it is difficult. I should say, as you move up the ladder, it becomes more and more difficult.
Before we conclude this Ek Samvaad with you, could you suggest what are some of the ways in which crime against women can be prevented, one, and a message for the community at large?
Uh, Crime against women, it can be of different. It's a very broad term, crime against women. First of all, I would say I primarily believe, again, like I said, my upbringing and the culture in which I've grown up would be coloring my views. I would say that one has to be on one's own feet. We have to be, if you have the dependent mentality,
Mhm.
then you are at somebody else's mercy or control, and you cannot always hope to have a very benign help coming from some direction or the other who will help you, in life. Life is full of difficulties, challenges, and having a good education and seeking out, eking out a good education is very important. And also having that will and that, they say fire in the belly, to have that earning capacity. You should be having the means and the ability to make your own decisions. Most important in life. That is one about strengthening, I would say. Now, about the crime against the crime part comes, I find that anybody, even a person who does eve teasing on the road, will not dare do it against a girl who looks up and walks with a lot of confidence.
Hmm.
If you're looking down and if you're looking a bit coy or shy, then these are the people whom they normally target.
Mhm.
And if at all, I mean, I faced this as a girl growing up in, even though in a very literate state like Kerala, I've come across instances where people make lewd comments and things like that. But once you raise your head and raise your voice, these people quietly melt away.
Hmm.
That is something which our girls need to be taught.
Yes.
Even as and police women, when I talk to police women, I tell them, because I run this police ZD program, I tell our girls that when you go and talk to these students, basically it's 12 to 18 age group girls that we identified and we try to address, you tell them to have that confidence. Somebody, some unwarranted advance is being made, you should raise and ruckus.
Mhm.
Be abusive, you shout, make some kind of noise. First of all, you're inviting attention to yourself. The other guy also doesn't want to risk it too much.
Hmm.
They'll think, they'll think, okay, why should I get this? It's risk versus reward kind of a game. It's
Mhm.
also a game of control.
Mhm.
I've seen the worst of rapists are only 4 feet tall. You would not imagine this guy is capable of doing this kind of a heinous thing.
Mhm.
It's basically his means of asserting control. That's what I've understood after seeing, after so many years of experience. That's
Hmm.
what I come to know. So don't give them that. Have the target hardening inbuilt in you. That
Yes.
is one thing. Second, if at all it comes, you have to raise your voice, invite attention. Of course, you have to take the precautions. You should not be so foolhardy.
Mhm.
And the third thing is you should be prompt in reporting. Even a small thing should not be ignored,
Hmm.
should be reported promptly. So these are three things as a police officer, I should say, will go a long way in preventing crimes.
On Women's Day, what would you like to say to everyone who's listening in?
Uh, see, apart from being a woman, I'm also an officer and I've been in public service for quite a long time. So, we are at different levels of ambition
Hmm.
and achievement,
Hmm.
I should say. So, to start with, we should have ambition.
Hmm.
It's not the kind of reckless ambition that you should have. You should have ambition which is, it should be there. You should not be without ambition. You should not be without goals. Ambition which is fueled by a very sincere, dedicated kind of attitude
Hmm.
will definitely see you through. And I'm still an optimist. Come what challenges are there, I'm
Yeah.
still an optimist. So I would say that if you do the best that you can
Hmm.
in any situation, something good does come out of it. You might think that a lady nowadays is being discriminated against, or she's not getting her due and all that. It is true. You should not go too out of the way just to pander to the to the gallery or play to the gallery or things of the sort.
Yes.
But in whatever that you are doing,
Hmm.
if you are able to do the best
Hmm.
and do it with a whole lot of dedication, projection is a different part.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this is the era of projection where you project,
Yes.
even if you do a quantum of the work, what you're projecting. So apart from projection, if you really do the work, I believe that the public are the best judge. People know what you're doing. No amount of publicizing or shouting from the rooftop is going to make up for what is actually felt and perceived.
Absolutely.
So I would say one should stand by that, and that wins in the end.
Thank you so much for sharing all your experiences. I'm sure there's a lot of inspiration for people who are listening in, and the fact that you keep reaching new milestones, you keep doing new things, and your leadership has probably helped so many other people. The teams that you have led, they're inspired. Thank you for being an inspiration, and our greetings on Women's Day to you and to all the other women in
Thank you.
uniform. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Pragya.
Thank you.